Ladies and gentlemen, can you hear me? Maybe?
What was that?
I could try to scream, but chances are it would be harder. Welcome to Port Jefferson Civic Association. We are a volunteer organization dedicated to promoting well-being and community cohesion in our area. Any resident of Port Jefferson Village, Port Jefferson School District, and Port Jefferson Fire District can become a voting member of this association. In order to be a voting member, you need to have attended 3 meetings in the last 12 months and paid your $20 dues. Today we have a General Assembly, which is an unusual to us meeting. Normally we have a speaker and a representative who talks about a specific issue. Today, the speakers will be the proposed board. We will outline our vision for what we want to do, and we want to hear from you. Do you want us to course correct? Do you want us to take it in a different direction? How would you like us to engage? In order to lubricate our communication, we have pizza, drinks, and snacks, courtesy of your membership dues.
Can we open the boxes now, or do you have to wait until later?
If you would like to, you can.
It's going to get cold, isn't it?
Yeah.
Just making a helpful suggestion.
Please do so. We are very grateful to Port Jefferson Free Library for giving us home. Without them, we would not have had a space. They are the ones who provided us this opportunity for us to continuously have these meetings. We're also grateful for every single one of you who have showed up and have volunteered in various projects over the last period of time. Members in good standing. There's voting going on over there. The nominating committee that was put together 3 months ago is managing the voting. Current board members are, I am Anna, the president of the association. We have Khalid Bilzameh, vice president. We have Marilyn Ramirez Damascus, who is our treasurer. We have Janice, I'm going to butcher your last name, pardon me. Thank you. Who is our recording secretary, and Kathleen McLean, who is our outreach officer, correspondence secretary. Thank you. I would like to take this moment to look back at what we've done. 3 years ago, we were here 16 people. We didn't know what we were doing. We were like, we kind of want a civic association. Do we have a status? Do we not have a status? We weren't really sure what we were doing. It took us time to dig through the archives, find our old registration, and figure out that we actually are registered, and our registration still stands, and we can reconstitute the association, and we started reaching out. Now we have nearly 50 voting members and more members who are not voting at this point. And that's quite a significant expansion. This is our third election, which is also almost feels impossible. And I would like to think back about the kind of stuff that we've done over the last 2 years. And I think the most important part that we've done is we've created a forum for a discussion on various topics. And the topics that we had come from, let's meet our mayor and talk about the disaster preparedness, and let's talk about the flooding issues. Let's talk to our planning and building department head. Let's talk to our code head. Let's talk about, with our proposed elected officials, we held meet the candidate nights, and we invited experts on a variety of topics to to talk to us and have a conversation on those issues. But I think the most important part of what we've done, we showed up to meetings, to stakeholder conversations, we advocated for different things. We advocated on things such as battery storage facilities, on whether or not MTA should or should not electrify. That is one of the things that we continue working on. We provided our opinions about the development and the direction in which they all could go. Not all of our suggestions were taken on. Yet I would not measure on how many of those were taken on as the bar for whether or not we have succeeded. But the fact that we held a seat at the table and we had those conversations, I think probably one of the more important achievements of us as a civic association. Today we will all be talking about the kind of things that we personally would like to take forward in the next 2 years. And for me personally, I would like to focus specifically on engagement around trees, clearing limits, and native vegetation. And for me, this is not just a question of let's stick to the code. I've noticed as I walk around the village, many of our residences have bird feeders in their yard. And that is not just a feature that we would like to have. Most of the reason, what people that I've spoken with, they say, we really enjoy birds. We want to see more birds. And we think that the bird feeders are the ones that actually feed the birds because they come in and they peck on the seeds. But unfortunately, the bird feeders don't provide the home for birds. And for birds to actually live in our yards, they need native plants, specifically native trees, specifically oaks. The birds don't eat oaks. Well, blue jays do. But most of the birds eat the insects that live on those trees. And by clearing out the oaks, because they provide too many leaves to clear out in the fall, we're actually taking away the food from the birds. And our native birds, and I'm not talking about the house sparrows or the starlings, I'm talking about the blue jays, the cardinals, the chickadees, a whole bunch of things. The woodpeckers, and they need native plants. So, and for us, I don't think we understand that connection. We don't see the connection, and oak means birds. We think oak, God, it's annoying. The oaks, the leaves, what do I do about it? But I also have seen the impact of the lack of the native vegetation has on native birds. In my yard alone, this morning, I've recorded 18 species of birds singing just in my backyard. Merlin Bird ID is like an amazing app. 17 for 10 minutes. If I listened for longer, at times the highest number that I've seen was 30. However, in the areas where they're dominated by lawns and ornamental plants, when I run the same app, it shows 5, 6. This is a lived difference. It's not something imaginary. And that is because the native birds needs native insects that live on the native plants. And here's what's really interesting. This civic association was created partially because of the clearing. The Mather Hospital was clearing out 2 acres of mature forest to put in a parking lot. And it galvanized a chunk of us to put together and say, no, we need a seat at the table. Not at the time when everything was done, when it all comes in to check in, oh, we need a public hearing. But before that conversation starts. So we say, no, we can't afford to lose 2 acres of forest Because we live in a place where in our code it says that it's the responsibility of the village government and its officials to protect the rural-like appearance of our village. And what makes us rural? It's all the vegetation. Our code provides for limits on the tree clearing, provides limits on how much lawn you could have. However, none of it is enforced. And I'm not an advocate to come in and be like, you need to do this. It's more an engagement of, do you really need wall-to-wall carpet? Or can we have like a little bit more of an area rug for your lawn? And then figure out the edges that could be for native vegetation. Because do you really use every single inch of it? Maybe some do, maybe some don't. Maybe there is a space. So that's part of the reason why I would like to have that conversation both with our village officials, with our commercial institutions, including our hospitals and our offices, as well as our residents, to figure out how can we adjust, because we want birds in our yards. And our code provides for that. We're not trying to invent something new. It's a conversation about why the vision of us as villagers who came together and developed that code can actually be implemented. So that is my idea for what I would like to do the next 2 years. And I shall pass it off to the rest of you to figure out what else we could be doing. Who wants to go next? Go ahead. Yay.
Hello? Hello. Kind of real close.
Keep the mic.
Okay. First of all, I'm running for treasurer. My name is Rob Jones, and what I have to tell you is not exciting as birds at all. But it'll be short. Okay. I'm running for the treasurer because I believe residents have a stronger voice when we come together as an organized group, rather than acting individually. I can help the community grow and better serve the community with working in the organization.
Your mic isn't working very well. Maybe you can
Hold
switch
it down
with-
lower.
We get to touch your lip.
Hello?
Maybe.
Hello? Hello? Okay, that's better. Professionally, I have a background in accounting and I'm a certified internal auditor. As treasurer, I will strengthen our financial practices by ensuring we are fully compliant, including securing the proper EIN and filing the required IRS forms annually. I will also implement a simple, transparent, online accounting system using free software so members can clearly see how funds are managed and how additional modern payment options we can have for submitting our dues. In addition to my duties as treasurer, I would like to chair a committee that focuses on the issues that come before the Village Planning Board and the Zoning Board of Appeals. My goal would be to keep residents informed about proposed developments and zoning changes early in the process, before they are finalized, and not when they come up for the vote.
Good idea.
Thank you for your consideration.
Go ahead, Janice, go ahead.
Hi everyone, my name is Janice Fleischman-Eaton, and I have been the recording secretary for the Civic Association for the last 3 years. I consider a position, also I would ask you, as a member of the Civic Association, to consider a position. In 2 years, I'm running because no one else is running. We welcome new leaders to share in the civic joy that you can achieve by being part of this board. And I heard that term just the other day on the radio, and it embodies really, truly how I feel about being part of the civic community. My passion for local advocacy here in Port Jeff also began 4 years ago with the clearing of the Mather Forest, and it was against an order to not do it. There was a hold on that, and they did it anyway, and they gave the village $25,000. Now, you just can't replace a forest. You know, it took how many years to grow a mature forest, and so we started the Civic Association, and since then, preserving our remaining trees in this village, the forest and the green spaces, has been a priority for me. These basic natural resources, I believe, is a necessity for the well-being of all living things, as Anna so eloquently presented about the birds and the bugs. I'm going to put a plug in for Thursday night. There's a documentary about bugs. The Greater Arts Council it's at the church, I believe. The Greater Portchester Arts Council. The Scraggy Hill Forest is threatened, right, at this point in time, in the next year or two. It's being threatened for development. It is zoned for residential. There is about 10 acres of healthy, mature forest that surrounds the Scraggy Hill Elementary School athletic field. I've personally, in the last year, worked with our town government, our county government officials, and our state government officials concerning this. They're all interested in pooling together to buy the property for preservation. But the Board of Education may only want to sell to the highest bidder for development. We don't know. It will come to a vote, but that is what is going to happen over the next 2 years. We have a committee focusing on preservation, and a passionate group of Port Jefferson Civic Association members to prevent development moving forward. Beyond environmental preservation, I am deeply committed to ensuring our local government prioritizes the need of our residents. Right now, our commercial, business, and historic districts receive a lot of attention and resources. However, the residential neighborhoods surrounding our main street are often overlooked. I want to advocate for equitable time, attention, and financial support for our residential areas, specifically focusing on crucial quality of life improvements. For me, that means pedestrian safety and walkability. I have chaired the Port Jefferson Civic Association Walkability Committee for close to 3 years, meeting monthly with a dedicated group. We are seeing the product of our advocacy with the plans for construction of a sidewalk extending from High Street west up the hill on Myrtle, crossing over Belterre Road to Scraggy Hill Road. We are also in the midst of working with Trustee Hill and the village grant writer to apply for funding for a federal Department of Transportation grant to continue to plan and build safer sidewalks and also a safer community, crosswalks and so forth. I appreciate your presence, your interest, your support. Thank you so much.
I kind of have a loud voice, as my wife there tells me. I don't think this is going to work for me, so if you can't hear me in the back, just tell me to yell louder. Anyway, so I'm John Russell. I'm running for the corresponding secretary. I'm also the chairperson of the Quality of Life Committee that we started last year. A couple of main reasons why I'm running. I guess I'm unopposed too, so I don't know if it's nobody else wanted to run, but I'm very happy to be running. But I moved to Rocky Point. Grew up in Jersey, moved here my sophomore year. I kind of knew of Port Jefferson, but not really. We come to KFC. Anybody remember the KFC up on Halleck Avenue and 112? So that was like a treat for our family. We'd come here. So that was my exposure to Port Jefferson. And then I turned 18 at some point in time, and something changed. So I started spending a lot more time in Port Jefferson. Anybody want to take a guess why?
Hormones.
That wasn't the answer I was looking for.
Drinking.
Yes, more specifically.
Girls.
So I started spending a lot of time in Billy's. Yes, so I spent a lot of time in Billy's. I knew how to get to Billy's from Rocky Point and get back. And then I went to college. I started working. Moved further into the city. Met my beautiful wife, Chris, right there, who's now is a recording secretary apparently, because she's doing the video. But met my wife Chris there, and we lived in Nassau County, and came time to retire. Chris retired as a New York City school teacher. Came time to retire. We started looking for places. We didn't really want to move that far in the beginning, but we kind of inched our way out, and we really weren't finding anything. And then Chris said, you know what, there's this place in Port Jefferson that looks really nice. I said, sure, we'll take a drive out here. So we drove out, and in hindsight, I think we came through Scraggy Hill, through Sheep Pasture Road. Right? Most of my exposure was Main Street and 112. We were driving through Port Jefferson, I'm like, wow, I didn't know a place like this existed. It's such a beautiful, beautiful place. And then we spent some time looking around the neighborhoods and, got exposed even more to how beautiful it was. And we saw a place, we live in Riviera right now, we saw a place. Drive home, I said, Chris, we have to make an offer on this place. She's like, you're crazy, we gotta wait. Call, we're gonna make an offer. We made an offer the next day, and then we moved here. So that whole long story is about, like, this is a beautiful, beautiful place. I didn't really realize it when I was in Billy's, probably because I was indoors. Probably some wisdom came along now that I'm older. But anyway, it's a beautiful place. So I want to continue to make it a beautiful place. Janice talked about preservation. I didn't know I had a fellow bird lover here in Anna. We got tons of birds in our backyard. I don't know if I have 18, but I'm going to turn them on Merlin tomorrow and find out. So that's the first reason. The second reason is the people. So I want to thank some people. So I have to thank Kathleen, who is the current corresponding secretary. I've done a lot of work with her over the last year or so. She is an absolute rock star. She's done a fantastic job. She works really hard. She's really smart. And then the rest of the board here too, right? It's a fairly selfish job. I don't think we get paid that much. How much do we get paid for that? Zero. Okay. We're getting paid zero. We get some free pizza here anyway. So it's a very selfish job, but everybody here, Holly, Madeline, Kathleen, Anna, and Janice does this for the greater good. So I want to thank them for all the work that they've done so far. My Quality of Life Committee seems to be missing in action tonight for some reason, but I want to thank them. We have 3 or 4 other people who participate on the Quality of Life Committee every month. Really smart people. They work hard and they have a tremendous knowledge of the village, like many people here do. Virginia, and I know you have cohorts back there helping you run the election. I'm not sure. We haven't met, but we have to thank Virginia and the rest of the team back there for running the election. So thanks so much for that.
Barbara Hagel and April Quiggle.
And then I'm always impressed by the elected officials that we have that show up from week to week, month to month, right? So they support us, which is great. And many of them, they're great presenters. They have great stories. They have great knowledge of the history of the village. Every time Chris comes to a meeting with me, I twist her arm a little bit sometimes to come. Even I got to twist my own arm sometimes. But when she walks out of here, she's so impressed. She's like, I learned so much today. So every time I come to one of these meetings, every council meeting I attend, I learn a lot. So I want to thank our elected officials. I see Zena back there. I see Emily there. I don't know if there's anybody else here right now, but I want to thank our elected officials for supporting the Civic and supporting our community. And then everybody who's here, all the residents, all the members, like everybody who's here right now makes the Civic Association a stronger place. So I very much appreciate that people came out tonight and that people come out all the time. And there's so much knowledge here, right? There's so many smart people. There's so many people here who care about the village and so many people who want to act. So I really appreciate all that. And that's the 2 main reasons why I'm doing this, right? It's the people, it's the beautiful village that we live in, and I just want to do my part. Okay, what am I going to actually do? I think I was going to walk off the stage right now and quit while I'm ahead. But anyway, I don't know if I'm over my time limit, but I'll make this quick. So, the Quality of Life Committee, we meet every month, right? We have a Quality of Life issue form, so if you have any issues that are chronic and have been unresolved, we have an online system where you could submit issues. Chris usually shows those and hands those out, but she's busy recording right now. So after the meeting, if you have a chronic issue, you want to talk about it, see me, but we can hand you the flyer. You go online, you fill out the form. Last month, we actually had one of the people who put in an issue actually came to the meeting. So I invited her to come to the meeting. She talked about what the issue is. We talked about it. We came up with a good idea. So anybody who wants to come to one of our meetings, just let me know. I'd more than welcome it. The gas-powered leaf blowers, that's something I've been advocating for, which is actually how I found the Civic to begin with. So I've been advocating 3.5 years or so right now, but we are probably working very hard with Kathleen on this. We're like 99% done with proposal and all supporting material right now that we're going to deliver to the mayor and the trustees probably in the next week or 2. We're really looking for common sense regulations and common sense practices that are going to benefit the residents, the workers, the visitors, the environment, and the landscapers in general. So that's what we're looking to do. That'll be out soon. Land preservation was mentioned a couple of times. I'm an environmentalist. I grew up fishing around here, and that's Scraggy Hill. Like, that's really important. Like, we need to protect every last inch of land that we have. We cannot let that get developed, right? I understand it's some kind of budget shortfall, but like, we have to come up with the money, and we need to do that. Because land is very, our footprint here shrinks, and we cannot let that happen. So I'm glad to help Janice and anybody else here who's gonna do this, and we need to get ahead of that. The board also has a lot of initiatives, so Anna mentioned it. A lot of the initiatives come from the residents, right? So what I've done from a technology standpoint is I have a tool called Smartsheet that we're using to keep track of initiatives, right? All the initiatives, we're able to collaborate together, and I'm sure we can take that even further. So we've put that into place. I'm sure a lot of the ideas, questions that come up today, will make it into that Smartsheet. So technology is big for me, so I want to bring more technology to the Civic. And then we had absentee ballots this year. I don't think anybody who voted absentee ballot is actually here right now, but really, that was supposed to be a trick question. Okay, that's even better then. How did it go filling out the absentee ballot? Perfect. So I created a form. People who couldn't make it, or people who ended up making it, filled out the form online. And maybe it took 5 minutes. I don't know. I worked closely with Virginia on that. So that technology is in place now. And then anybody has any questions about further technology that they want to implement, I'm all ears, but I have that background, and I love doing it. So thanks for coming, and that's it.
Thank you, John. I'm Kathleen McLean, and I'm very happy to be here. And I want to thank John for the shout out, but also John has already been helping us so much, as has Rob, with the technology. We're going to get our website up. Rob is going to get us Venmo and PayPal, so it's a lot easier. We have so many snowbirds in the village, and a lot of them said, "Can I send you a Venmo?" And I went, "Not yet, but we will." So we're grateful that Rob will be doing that, and John has just been excellent with the technology and willing to do anything. Both of these guys have been great, as has everyone on this board that we've worked with for 3 years. When I first moved to Port Jeff, I was still working in the city. I'm a writer, a journalist. I did branding and design. And Zena and I lived here, and we probably in 10 years, we knew about 8 people. And it changed the first night I heard about this one, and I went to the revived civic meeting. I only went to show my support on a cold January night, and I was just wowed by the residents, the intelligence of the conversation, the passion people had to show up on just a brutal night. And I didn't just join, I volunteered to be on the board. So I have been your corresponding secretary for 3 years, and I am so happy to say that this experience for me has been absolutely wonderful. I now know so many people. I have a sense of community, which I'm mostly in Manhattan, so you have like a building or a block, but you don't have this kind of sense. And meeting people from all stripes. So I've really appreciated that, and I especially have liked answering your emails. So people say, "What's going on with such and such?" And then I make friends, and I don't even know the face to the person, and then I finally meet them at a meeting. I've loved getting the amazing speakers that we've had. I think our meetings have gotten stronger and stronger. We've had our county executive here. We've had our 3 civics, all the leaders here. We've had some incredible conversations, and we're just getting better. And I feel like with some new blood and the positions that Holly and Marilyn will also be taking, we're gonna do a lot more. Some of the things I wanted to focus on, or I have been, Anna mentioned a few things, but we have, one of the things I liked was I reached out to the other civics, the leaders of the other civics, and now we're in a terrific collaboration with Port Jeff Station and Free Village. And it was because of that collaboration that we got a meeting with Supervisor Panico about the best task force. It was the 3 villages together, the combined voices gave us a lot more clout and a lot more influence. And he did not implement it town-wide like we hoped, but because Jonathan Kornreich was pretty persuasive, we did get it here in Port Jeff. In our district, in our council district, the battery storage task force. Because at the time that we approached the supervisor, two huge facilities were being put right in the middle of schools and houses, and it was ridiculous. So we really fought back, and the supervisor did listen. And Jonathan persuaded him to at least do one here as a trial. Hopefully we can do it townwide. One of the other things, working with Anna, I'm just gonna have to embarrass you, has been absolutely amazing. We found that we were a great team together. Some developers approached us 2 years ago, and they wanted to be nice, and they said, well, if you want to talk to us, you have to give us a public benefit. Oh, well, what do you want? We want to move our fire department. We want to get them to higher ground. We didn't quite succeed yet, but with the help of our new assemblywoman, Rebecca Cassay, Emily Murphy's here representing her tonight, we managed to put some pressure on the seller of some land the fire department was interested in. And they do have an agreement. We don't know, we have to step back, but we did move the mountain to Muhammad. So that was, again, following up and using whatever little leverage, because when people come to develop in our area, they like to introduce themselves to the civics, the homeowners associations, and we sure made the most out of that. So hopefully, Rebecca gave a grant to the fire department to have a feasibility study to check out if that property is appropriate or not, and we hope that will continue. I think that's all I'm going to say. I'm just so grateful for the friendships, the sense of community I have here from everyone. Thank you so much. Oh, I'm running for vice president. I got a promotion.
Anyone would be better than Vance. Come on.
Oh, yeah.
Before I would like for us to have the pizzas. I also want to acknowledge the roles that Holly and Marilyn will be having. Holly and Marilyn and Holly. So Marilyn will be chairing the Inter-Community Relations Committee, because Marilyn has been a very helpful liaison, attending a lot of meetings, helping us to keep a pulse on what's happening with other communities. And Holly will be taking charge of the Environmental Action Committee. And I would like to give you a chance to make a short statement about the vision for what you want to do, and then let's go have pizza and have conversation.
Good evening, everyone. I want to thank everyone for being so supportive of our endeavors. I'm a resident of close to 30 years in this community, 4 children later, always involved in the schools. I love our schools. They did a lot in terms of supporting and just pushing the students in this community, and we love that. And we want to continue to see that type of structure. But I also realize that I too want to be civically engaged. I took on this position early on. I was actually enlisted by my friend here, Holly, and she said to me passionately, "We've got to do something, Marilyn. Find a time somewhere." And sure enough, I found the time, the energy, and this is what I have been doing. And any little jobs that required some sort of standing. So yes, like Anna said, we need to be engaged. We want to bring information to you. We want to let you know, if we're at a meeting, what that meeting was about. I cannot physically attend every single meeting, but any meeting that I do attend, I want to give you some feedback. And hopefully it is a non-biased, non-partial feedback, rather looking to tweak and pique your the sense of community. That is all, not, like I said, there's only so many hours in the day, so much energy, but looking to create that link between community and the board. Okay?
Hello, I'm Dr. Holly Fizeme. I'm actually an English professor, but I do a lot of other cool stuff. So I'm from New Hampshire, and I kind of grew up in the woods. And as a result of that, first of all, my family, including the girls, that's me and my sister, when we were older, we donated 25 acres of our property for conservation easement, and that's where some of this comes from. My mother taught us the bird songs, which we had to listen to on record when I was growing up. It was very annoying at the time, but later I appreciated it. And Merlin is magic. Anyone who doesn't know about it, please get Merlin free app on your phone, and it will tell you the birds. But don't just let Merlin tell you. See if you can recognize them, and then check Merlin to see if you're right. So it's in your brain, not on Merlin. Professor here, sorry. Okay, so I also started the Eco League, which is a local Port Jefferson Eco Club. And 5 members of the Eco League showed up for our first meeting of the Civic Association, way back when. So we feel really happy about that, and 4 of us are here right now. 5! One's here. Okay. So some of the things we did was we initiated a BYO program, which is recognizing cafes and other retail organizations like Simple Good downtown, where they do the refills on your dishwashing liquid and all that stuff, as well as having environmentally sensitive products. So we have a sticker, and we have several businesses in town that have it, and some others in other towns, including New Hampshire, where I have a summer place. I'm talking about Tiger Lily, Locals, Simple Good, UMENT, Southdown, and so on. Okay, so they have our sticker, and it's nationwide, by the way, this program. Also, Myrna Gordon and I and Kyle Hill were able to work on a program to eliminate single-use plastics from the village center, so that all renters of a space in the village center who are going to give a party or whatever have to sign the contract, which says that they will do their best to use sustainable products at the village center, which I think is a huge step, because if you've ever looked at parties where everybody used plastic plates and plastic utensils and so on, it's horrendous. It's a really ridiculous waste of plastic that goes into our water, by the way, mostly. Okay, so for doing that, we got a recognition on the US Reduces site, which you can look that up online. Out of 35 municipalities in the country, we are one. How many people do we have here? 6,000? 8,000 compared to 40, 100 and 600,000 people in these different municipalities, so this is pretty incredible. Okay, so you can look on the US Reduces site and find us there. It's a beautiful picture of a fisherman on a beach. I don't know where they got it, but it's wonderful. Okay, so also we've been working, Eco League works with the school district. I proposed the Year of the Tree this past year to the school district. They have done amazing stuff. They took it on wholeheartedly, enthusiastically. Their symbol for the year was the tree with the roots, the tree of life. They did incredible things, like in the middle school they did, by the way, they have fantastic cooking now in the middle school. We made muffins at the best when we were in home ec. Back in the past, they were doing pastries in the shape of trees. Everything was trees. I'm particularly proud of the art show that we did at the Village Center, and thanks to Mike Carabello, who's fantastic, and Francine Moshe, who did great work for us. We had a wonderful, we have beautiful works from the students from age 5 to grade 4. We evaluated them with 2 people who are well-known local artists and have degrees in art, and gave prizes, and the students showed up with their parents for the opening, and it was incredible. The students spoke about their work. I didn't force anyone. Okay, I said, it's up to you. And the parents were so happy, and I talked to the parents. It was great. For the next semester, of course, they're still doing that, and we've already decided that possibly they will go ahead and do a year of anti-plastic, which is incredible to get kids started realizing we don't need to use all this plastic, right? We do not. And I start with refuse plastic. It doesn't start with reduce plastic. Refuse plastic, just don't take it. And then reduce and reuse and at last resort recycle. Oh yes, and then there's composting, which is part of it. Okay, so those are some of the things I've done. I'm really looking forward to working with Janice and John Russell and anyone else who wants to join the committee to save that bit of forest, which is a large bit, 10 acres. I do not want to see that what's a public area for people to walk with their dogs and enjoy the beautiful trees and bird life and so on. I don't want to see that go into another development. That's not where Long Island should be heading. So, anyway, thank you all very much.
All right, let's have grab some pizza and then come back to, Virginia, thank you. Oh my God, there is a vote taking place, yes.
Yeah, so if anybody has not yet voted and you're a member in good standing, you can come back here and cast your ballot. If you have already voted, thank you for doing your civic duty. And we're gonna convene, we're gonna not eat pizza right away, and then we'll report the results shortly.
Wonderful, and I also want to acknowledge Carol Macy's Fox, who was our first recording secretary. So we have our entire iteration of the board of the Civic Association here, which is absolutely wonderful. So, if you haven't voted, please vote. The counting will happen in 5 minutes. The counting will happen in 5 minutes. Please grab the pizza and let's have the conversation back and forth.
Yay.